Hey everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make some vegan chili. So right now I just have 2 cloves of garlic, which I have, put under my knife and smash down with the knife. It's a technique I learned from Bobby Flay, I believe. I'm not sure. So now I'm taking off the skins, and the garlic, when you smash it with the knife and then you take off the skin, it gets nice and flat. And you can cut off, the bad ends or the dry ends of it. And then it gives you a nice flat surface to work with. So now I'm just chopping it up, trying to get it to as fine of a mince as possible. And I am just chopping, and scraping off the knife as I go. Be careful not to cut your finger. That knife is not as sharp as it used to be, thanks to someone putting it in the dishwasher. But, it still serves the purpose. So now I'm setting that to the side with some other vegetables that I chopped up. Onion and green pepper that I chopped up earlier. So now I'm opening up a pack of vegan kielbasa that I got from Fry's/Kroger. And I wanted to try it. I never tried this before. So now I'm slicing these in half. And this is really my chopping technique for any veggie that I chop up if I don't use my food processor. I slice it in half. And then I take the halves and slice those into additional pieces, like I'm doing there. And then once I get all of those cut up into nice little thin strips, basically, then I will stack them all together and then chop them up into additional little pieces. Now, if you have a food processor, you can use that. I'm doing this for people who may not have a food processor. So I want to show you, this is the way that you can do it if you don't have a food processor. If you have a food processor, I suggest you use that because it will give you a finer mince on this vegan meat. And then, it'll really be nice and fine and crumbly, like the consistency of basically meat. So I did attempt to smash it down once I cooked it a little bit. You'll see that later in the video. I used my potato smasher, but it didn't work. So, oh well. So now I'm going to put like a tablespoon of oil in the pan, and then just swirl it around in the pan so that, it'll be evenly distributed. And now I'm adding the vegan meat. And I am just spreading it out in the pan for even cooking. And that there is an Anaheim pepper. So that is the onion and green pepper. That was a half of an onion that I chopped up and half of a green pepper that I chopped up off camera. So now I'm just stirring this up to get it all evenly distributed so it can saute in the pan. I like to saute until the onions are translucent. As you can see, they're white now. So as they cook, they'll start to change in color, almost to like they're basically see-through, but not really. But that's how you know when they are really sauteed really well. So now I'm slicing the membrane out of the piece of the pepper that I chopped. That I cut in half. When you use the pepper, I always cut the top off, then cut off a little piece, cut off that white, membrane part that's in the inside. I do that with any type of pepper that I use. This one didn't have a lot of seeds in it. So now I'm just, sauteing the veggies in the meat so they don't burn and they get cooked evenly. That was a little piece of something that was in the vegan meat. I didn't know what it was, so I just took it out. I didn't know if it was, could have been a spice, could have been a chunk of pepper. I'm not sure, but I noticed it, so I removed it. And at this point, I'm getting my celery because I forgot to chop up the celery. I remember I had it, so I like to put celery in my chili. And I only use 2 stalks. So that's 2 stalks of celery that I rinsed off after I got them out of the refrigerator. Now I'm just finishing up chopping up the Anaheim pepper. And I'll add the pepper. I'm going to set that to the side. And I'll add that with the chili sauce. I didn't want to add the pepper while the meat and the veggies were sauteing because I didn't know if the vapors from the peppers would burn my eyes. I didn't want to take any chances because I have not made chili in a long time. Out here in Arizona, it's hot the majority of the time. So I'll add the peppers later. So now I'm going to chop up my celery. And I basically use the same technique for anything that I'm chopping. I like to slice into thin strips and then stack those strips together. And then go over everything with the knife again. And that's how you get nice, fine, little minced veggies without using a food processor. So just because you don't have a food processor, if you don't have one, doesn't mean that you can't, chop your veggies up small. You just have to be careful. So now I'm just stirring up the meat as it sautés, and I'm throwing in the celery. And stir that up. And let it continue to hang out for a bit. So at this point, now you can add the tomato sauce. I use 2 large cans of tomato sauce. And put the first can in. And I'm mixing that up, just mixing it in. You know how tomato sauce pops up while it's cooking? I hate that. And as you can see, it's already starting to bubble because the pan was hot from sauteing the vegan meat and the veggies. I'm going to add another can of tomato sauce. So that's 2 large cans of tomato sauce that I've added. Now I'm adding the peppers. All right. I'm going to stir that in. And the veggies for the chili are basically done. So now I'm going to add 2 cans of black beans. I believe that's the Ortega brand that I use. Some people like to pour off the liquid, but I like to use it because the tomato sauce is so thick. And this particular brand, I believe on the can, it didn't say that, pour off the liquid. So I put that lid on top of the chili because it was starting to pop. And I didn't want to get, burned by tomato sauce. So now I'm looking for the smasher to try to smash down the meat because it wasn't the consistency that I wanted. I had to abort that mission because it didn't work. So I gave up right there and it's like, oh well, we'll just have to deal with it. And it wasn't bad at all. It just wasn't the consistency that I was used to. So now I'm adding the beans, and with the liquid, they have the Ortega with the jalapenos. I didn't get that. This is just the regular black beans by Ortega. And see how by adding the liquid, it gives the chili a nice darker color. And the chili isn't so blood red, like tomato sauce. So now I'm adding seasoned salt, and I had a whoops. See that? That's extra salt, so I didn't use all the salt on the spoon. And now I'm adding cumin, Cumin, cumin. I'm adding 3 tablespoons of cumin. You might think that's a lot. If you've never put this in your chili, you should try it. It's the bomb. And I also like to add chili powder. So I'm going to add 4 tablespoons. Yes, 4 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I am using a regular just tablespoon that you would eat with, simply to show if you don't have a measuring spoon, you can still use that to measure. It may be a little bit more than if you used a regular measuring spoon, because you can level those off, but same premise. So now I'm putting my ill-fitting top on the top. Don't come for me. I found the top that goes with that pan after I made the video, but it still worked. So now at this point, the chili is basically made, so it just needs to cook. Remember, I put the celery in last, so I let it cook for about 20 minutes. So the celery and the green peppers and the Anaheim pepper can cook and get the flavor into the chili. And I'll just keep stirring it periodically, like every 5 minutes, just so it won't stick at the bottom. So you can't just put it on and then forget it. You have to go back to the pan, like maybe even every 3 minutes, 3 to 4, maybe 5 minutes. Have it on low heat, of course. And you want to just keep checking it and stirring it up, just to make sure that it doesn't burn. So what I need you all to do is just comment below if you tried this recipe and what do you think of the flavors. What do you put in your chili? What type of beans do you like to use? I like to use the black beans. Sometimes I will also add, depending how much I want to make and if I want to thin it out. If you think this is too thick for you, then you can also add a couple of cans of the red hot chili beans that they sell at the store. Those usually have, a little bit of extra spice in them. Those are seasoned. And you may have to adjust your chili powder and your cumin if you add a couple of more cans of beans. Some people like to use kidney beans. You could throw the kidney beans in there. I would just look on the can just to see if they recommend that you rinse the beans off. Some people do and some people don't. I just think the liquid in the beans adds a little bit of extra flavor. And again, it helps to thin the chili out. So at this point, you can see that it is just slowly simmering and bubbling. And just let it cook. It only needs to simmer on the stove for about maybe 15 to 20 minutes. You just want to keep stirring it so it does not stick. Get you some crackers. I use just regular saltine crackers. Some people like to have a grilled cheese sandwich with their chili. I used to eat all of that, but I got full just off of a little bowl with some crackers, and it was just delicious. We had this for dinner on Saturday, we had it for, no, I'm sorry. I made this Saturday night. I had a little bowl. Shelton had a little bowl. Shakina didn't eat any. And of course, Victoria, she's not here. She lives in another state. She's at home. And then we had it again on Sunday. It tastes even better the next day because it had an opportunity to sit overnight and let the flavors really meld. And then we also had it again for leftovers on Monday. So this big batch of chili lasted for, we had 3 meals. I got like 3 meals out of this chili. So as you can see now, it's really going there, and I'm just stirring it up. See how dark and rich it looks? That is from the black beans, the chili powder, and the cumin all contributed to this nice, rich, dark color. So now I'm just, positioning it on the eye so it can cook evenly. I'm just cleaning, wiping some things off. And that's basically it. I mean, easy chili recipe. Comment below and let me know if you make this and how it turned out. Subscribe to my Instagram page, Trill Vicky, where I post pictures of, my meals. This chili actually didn't make it to Instagram. But, I will be posting photos of my meals. And also, I have a Facebook page as well, Trill Vicky, that you can follow. If you're not on Instagram, then just follow me on Facebook. And I look forward to our journey into eating better, incorporating more vegetables into our diet. And so now the chili is done. So let me know what you think. Until the next time, talk to you later. And remember to eat something green every day.